Welcome in. Thanks for stopping by again on such short notice. We're out here, I think in the rain, for another quick edition of IDP. Today we have some post-punk / new wave, some lo-fi indie rock, and some indie pop stuff as well. As this video is going up, I believe I'll be out of the country briefly, so it's as good an excuse. It's as good of an excuse as any to grab yourself an ice cold beer and maybe a giant meat stick as well. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Today we have the Calgary, Alberta, Canada band called Preoccupations. They've released their 5th full-length LP, which is titled Ill at Ease, which is out now on Born Losers Records. And it's a good one. This is sometimes apocalyptic, sometimes very apocalyptic, sometimes buoyant post-punk / new wave with brooding vocals, with strong hooks. I think it's a very accessible record. I think it feels that way to me. Has occasional shades of, say, late 70s, early 80s Bowie, maybe Bauhaus, Joy Division, early New Order. Uses, I think, both drum machines prominently, as well as, I think, real drums, shimmering, angular guitars, synths. I'm really digging this one. I think the kind of the depth of the lyricism kind of rewards repeat listens for people that, like digging deeper. But I also think that it has a lot of fun, not necessarily fun, but catchy tunes that I think will also be rewarding for more of the casual listener as well. Yeah, a little broody, icy post-punk, a little icy, synthy, new wave smashed together, but also I still think really, really accessible, poppy, I guess, post-punk. That is Preoccupations. It's the name of the artist, and their album is called Ill at Ease.
Got broken centrifuge, flying your dark desires into paths no one else should see. The diagnosis is I'm doing my best to forget everything that I know, but I can't shake the shame of mistakes I made. It must have happened here 1,000 years ago.
Next, we have the debut LP from a band that I really don't know much about, aside from the fact that they are, I believe, from San Jose, California, and they're called Dusty Slims. The name of their debut album is Texaco Star, and it's out on Smoking Room, which is a label out of Oakland, California. I've been listening to this one a lot over the last week to 10 days or so, and it's really grown on me quite a lot. I'd say this is indebted to mid-90s lo-fi indie rock. Has some shoegaze elements. I wouldn't call this a shoegaze record, but it has some shoegaze adjacent vibes throughout. Has some 1995 era alternative rock radio elements. Can get a little pavement-y for maybe a minute, then maybe a little J Mascis-y, into something more shimmering, gazy, then bounces around to something more maybe like early This Is a Long Drive era Modest Mouse. Yeah, it definitely takes bits and pieces of a lot of classic 1990s guitar rock, indie, alternative, but doesn't really wind up sounding too much like anything in particular. Melodic, lo-fi, indie rock. I'm digging it. I'm excited to see, where this band goes next. I strongly recommend it to people that are interested in this kind of thing, for sure. That is the San Jose band Dusty Slims, and their debut album is titled Texaco Star.
Drifting off the road again, you're mixing love with enemies. By Powerball, lottery, magic can't answer me. Will I win? Tell me.
Next we have the first release in nearly 30 years, the first release of all new material in nearly 30 years for the band called Action Painting with an exclamation point. It is a 5-song, 10-inch vinyl EP called Scatterflats, which is out now on the old Bad Habits label. This is a band that was formed, I believe, in 1989, if not 1989, somewhere in that neck of the woods. They're known for their releases on the FMera Records label. They self-described their sound as riot pop back then, you know, back in the late 80s, early 90s. Had a mod punk pop indie rock sound that really stood out from the other artists on the FMera Records label. I'd say this is a reasonably strong, reasonably solid EP overall, although I think you could argue, you know, after this much time, if this music has much in common with that early Action Painting music. I'd say this is more pop, less riot pop. Of the 5 tracks, I'd say a couple do have kind of that jam style, mod pop vibe going on. One track titled Where's the Jazz Butcher actually sounds like the band, the Jazz Butcher. I'll be interested to see if they do wind up releasing a full-length LP at some point soon. Yeah, so if you were a fan of Action Painting in the past and you weren't aware that this EP was out, because it's not super easy to get your hands on the 10-inch vinyl release, and also not super easy to stream. You can stream it on Bandcamp. At any rate, worth checking out for those folks is called Scatterflats. That's the name of the release by Action Painting. All right, the Minneapolis, Minnesota band called Basement Apartment have just released a new LP. It's titled FMera, like capital F, capital M, E-R-A, FMera. Basement Apartment is a project of guitarist Vince Caro, who is also in the band Flavor Crystals. He previously was in a band called Pilot Light. They originally formed, I believe, back in 2001 with a lineup that's kind of evolved over the years with different Minneapolis musicians coming and going. This is maybe 90s style power pop / alternative rock. It's like alternative rock influenced, kind of psychedelic, like mildly psychedelic, with some jangly guitars, fairly melodic, well-crafted pop. Has really nice harmonies, has some synths on here. It occasionally even dips its toes into some, maybe a little bit of a spacey Americana vibe a couple times here as well. I think this is one maybe some of the pop kids out there would enjoy if they gave it a listen. Once again, that is the band Basement Apartment, and the album is called FMera, a solid album worth checking out.
Living on